Hey everybody, this is Kyla here from Waveflow, the mindfulness practice that creates ripples of acceptance, meaning, and appreciation. This month, I'm hosting a 10 days of gratitude program in celebration of my new to the market gratitude journaling workbook, Ripple. Today, I practiced with my cousin, Kieran. Kieran has magnetic energy and is a total light to be around. Kieran was one of the first people to step up and offer to lead a Waveflow circle when I asked my friends and family for support a few years ago, and I was so excited to hear what has been lighting Kieran up recently. We reflected on growing up connecting with our moms over shopping excursions at TJ Maxx and Marshall's, leveling up athletically by surrounding ourselves with inspiring people, and more. Enjoy our conversation and don't forget to try the practice for yourself. I'll drop a copy of the prompts in the show notes, and I invite you to try our free mobile app or get a copy of our new workbook, Ripple, to discover layers of possibility and meaning making through a month-long commitment to the Waveflow practice. Let's get right into it. Here's Kieran and I diving into our second day of the gratitude program. Kieran, it's so good to see you. Thanks so much for practicing gratitude with me today.
Thank you for having me, Kyle. I'm so excited to be here and to get to do this with my friend and cousin, and I'm just super excited to be a part of it.
Yay! Kieran and I come from a very large, athletic, Irish Catholic, loud, fun family.
Yes, we
And I feel like each one of we're obsessed with each other.
yes, that's a fact, which is
Yeah.
honestly, I feel very lucky every day that we are.
Same. Like it's interesting too because each one of our individual cousins is so different. Like we're all doing different things. I feel like mostly in the Northeast, but kind of all over. And
Yes.
we're just obsessed with each other. It's
Yeah.
hysterical.
No, it
Um,
is. It's very special. We have a strong foundation set forth by Grandma, Nana, Mima, and then
oh,
our parents, I think. So there was no other option, which I love.
oh, R.I.P. Grandma Nana and hell yeah,
Oh,
Mima.
heck.
Okay. All right, here, we're gonna get right into it. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Share about an invention that has made your life easier.
Oh, wow. Okay, an invention that has made my life easier. I hate to say this kind of, but it's true. I would say my phone, honestly, because I think the ability for me to be able to connect with so many people so instantaneously is something that I think we all take for granted, and I can, speaking for myself, take for granted. And it allows me to, call, say, Mima and like have a FaceTime with her, and like the ability to have um, the chance to speak to her and see her face and see her reactions and like share those special moments, even though it's not in person, and be able to just catch up is something that I cherish. And I think like we were talking about how close we are as a family with our cousins, and like being able to jump on a FaceTime like with you and with your kids and just to get to see people. And we can't be with each other every single day, but it's really nice when we can have those check-ins and get to just see what's going on in everyone's day-to-day life. And not just FaceTime, but texting and scheduling. I'm always busy, so it's good to have my phone handy and have the Apple Calendar ready to go. So I definitely think an invention that has made my life easier has got to be my phone, and the Apple specifically, because I guess I've only really had iPhones for the past like 10 years. So lucky in that sense too. They are getting me through life. So
Okay, so Kieran's like slightly younger than me, I would say. Are you technically Gen Z in
I'm
your like
technically Gen Z. I'm right on the cusp of Gen Z millennial, but I would say that I'm probably more Gen Z. My friends and I have this conversation all the time. And I think there's ways in which I sway millennial, but then I'm like also very much in the know with like Eve and the Gen Z. Eve, for those not knowing, is my younger sister, who's definitely very much Gen Z. And like, I'm definitely up to date with all of the terminology and like different pieces of the Gen Z culture. So,
Give us a glimpse into the
mhm.
Gen Z use of technology. Like if you had to say like what top three apps
Mhm.
are y'all using and like how are you using them? Like give us a little
Yeah.
glimpse.
I think one of the top ones is probably Snapchat, which I think people on my side of Gen Z, like that are kind of on the like cusp, are probably less so on. But I know that that is definitely one that people use a lot in terms of just communication. And like again, I think Gen Z is all about instant gratification and like how can I communicate with the most people the quickest? How can I engage with media, whether that be the news or pop culture or like whatever, as fast as possible, get the quick hits, and then literally move on to the next thing, rather than always like taking the time to really digest the information and like ask questions. It's like, let me get the quickest hit possible. So Snapchat is very instantaneous in terms of like you send a picture, you open it, and you send another picture back. So I think that's one. Definitely with the new age of TikTok, I think that's a newer one, but I think one that Gen Z really engages with. And I even find myself like, we call it quote unquote like death scrolling on TikTok before bed, which is like a terrible habit. And I try to break consistently and I'm still working towards. But it's again like, I'll read a book and then I'll be like, okay, well, now I've read, so let me like check out TikTok and see one TikTok. And then next thing I know, I'm like down a rabbit hole. So I think that's a big one. I think maybe Instagram, and there's probably some that I like don't even know of yet, to be completely honest, but I would say Instagram is still a big one just for keeping up with people. Like I think Gen Z moved away from Facebook for sure. Like I think that's definitely more millennial coded. And that Instagram is like Gen Z took that over with like Snapchat, TikTok, um and yeah, and then like in terms of news and stuff, I feel like Gen Z is like Reddit and like Reddit holes and threads, and like that's something that I definitely don't know that world well, to be completely honest, but people will talk about like Reddit feeds and like the wormholes they get down on Reddit, and that's definitely, I feel like, more Gen Z as well.
It's so fascinating, like what the ages gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for me, an invention that has made my life easier, honestly, like I feel like we're giving Apple all the love, but the first one that came to me was Apple Pay.
Oh,
Because
me
when
too.
I'm like specifically like I take my kids, I live really close to a Whole Foods, which is like it's nice in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so we're at this Whole Foods like every other day. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like I need to stop going to Whole Foods basically. But we it's really nice because like I'll have like either the kids in the stroller or like one's in the cart, one's walking, whatever we're doing. And
Yep.
the fact that I don't have to like have a bag, like now I never bring a bag anywhere. I just have my phone like
Yep.
somewhere like on my body basically, and then I can just pay and like not have to have extra stuff.
Yep. That's
It's
huge.
so nice. Yeah.
Interesting hearing you say that, because again, I feel like that's very Gen Z, like in the digital
Oh,
age that we live in. Like, I don't think very many people my age or younger carry cash like at all anymore. I think that
oh,
people are
yeah.
all like Venmo, Zelle, like Apple Pay. And I think even too for me, like Apple Pay works really well for transit, and like getting on the T even in Boston just transitioned over to their turnstiles having Apple Pay, like the subways in New York, which is
Nice.
huge because whenever I'm in New York, I'm like, why does our public transport in Boston not have Apple Pay? Like it's feels archaic to us because I have to go get a Charlie card and fill the Charlie card and tap it instead of just being able to tap my phone like when you're in New York in the subway system. So it's just funny how, like, yes, totally agree. And it's like everyone has their different purposes and uses for it, which is just interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. That's like funny that that's going away. Okay. Moving on to our next question. Share about somebody or somebody or something you are a loyal customer of, but try and think of something where like you recognize the person that works there.
Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Um, okay, well, I don't know if I'm biased but I'm a loyal customer of TJ Maxx, Marshall's Home Goods, and I work there. So for those who might not know, I work for TJX, who is the kind of corporate parent company entity to all of those brand stores that you're probably more familiar with, like TJ Maxx, Home Goods. But like genuinely, I think I was a shopper way before I ever started working at TJX. And my mom and Kyla's mom have been influential in my love for TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And I remember even just growing up in SK and going to the Narragansett Marshalls Home Goods and like having the best time ever with my mom. And that's still something like to this day, I'll go home and that's something that's fun for her and I to do together and to catch up and walk through the aisles. And so it's something that we've always just been able to connect over. And I think I'm, I guess, the person that I'm the loyal customer to, but also I've built a really great um web of like connections at TJX, and I have friends who worked there prior to myself working there, and like always heard great things about the company, and obviously always again like the stores and the brands. So I think before I even worked there, that is definitely like TJX and their stores. Gonna be a loyal customer probably till the day that I die. So it's probably my top that I can think of.
Oh, that's sweet how you have that connection with that with your mom.
Yeah, I love it. She is always my fashion influence in life, so it's fun to be able to go do that with her.
Kieran saying this with this like fabulous photo of Audrey Hepburn, but like it's just so it's ringing so true. So maybe today, yeah, we shoot Annalisa, your mom, a text,
Yes, we
sending her
should.
the
I will let
love,
her
right?
know. I tell her often that she's my like fashion icon influence. I think
Yes.
her fits are always so impressive. Same with your mother, same with you, same with Jacka. I think our family can give ourselves a pat on the back for having pretty good style. So,
They have style. Yeah,
mhm.
for sure. Okay. Somebody I'm a loyal customer of. Hmm. I Let me think about this for a second because, huh.
It's a good question.
Interesting because like all the different places that I've lived are like cycling through my mind.
Mhm.
And I think what I'm gonna say, so sorry, I'm like getting present to how much time I spend at grocery stores. There's
Yeah.
another grocery store called Good Earth, which is like the more kind of like organic, like more hippy dippy Northern California grocery store that's also in our town. And so we go to like Whole Foods for groceries, but then we'll go to Good Earth to like eat dinner. And I treat it like it's a college dining hall with my family, which is sort of funny. So there's this one cashier, and I feel horrible that I don't know their name. And they drop life advice while I'm checking out of this grocery store, which if you understood how like crunchy and granola this place was, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, they said something to me like I was buying like blueberry. I was getting like a lot of fruit. So it was like a healthy
Mhm.
checkout situation. And they said to me like, good thing you're like treating this body right. Like, it's only on loan.
Oh
Like
my,
they just, yeah. And they like
that's
got
like,
me present to
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Dropping a piece of wisdom, like low key aggressive, but
They
also
were
really
dropping
good
knowledge on
advice.
me in the checkout line. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like I use that theme for at least like the next 3 weeks of yoga classes.
Yeah, I love that. That's
I
amazing.
absolutely put that in my reusable checkout bag and brought it home with me. And I also love Good Earth because in addition to the cashiers dropping
Mhm.
wisdom on me, they really make an effort to source things that are actually like very high quality. And it's
Yeah.
really expensive, but I do feel like when I go there, I'm at least buying something that was like farmed with love. You know what I mean? Like it feels like that really comes through in the products.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go to our next question. Tell us about an experience recently where you felt sufficiently prepared.
Oh, that's a great question too. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think of like outside the box of work and not going to that realm. Oh, okay. This is good. So I am currently training for my first ever half marathon, which has been a up and down journey. I would say overall very positive. But definitely I was really sick last week. So like things like that throw a curveball into your training regimen. And like I just was like, okay, how do I now um like bounce back and make sure that I'm still in the routine and hitting the miles I'm supposed to be hitting each week and all the workouts because like really I couldn't do that. So I think I didn't feel prepared at the start of this week, but then I like did my first run and then like mentally I've gotten back into the switch of okay, like here's my workout plan, here's like the days I'm running. And after I did it Monday, I went on my 4 mile run yesterday and like just felt very ready, prepared, like I knew I could do it. And so that was great. And then I have my 6 mile long run on Saturday. So, and that for me is like a big deal. So I'm excited to like step into that and just like feel all parts of it and do my best. And I know I'll make it through. Like I'm not stressed about not finishing. But I feel very prepared mentally and physically because of all the training that I've been putting into it. And outside of the runs, I've been doing yoga like every Tuesday to try to stretch in between the running and make sure my body has the right recovery. And then like tonight I have my tennis league as kind of like the cross training part of training for the marathon. So I have like some really fun mixes involved with the actual running itself that has made me feel like really good physically, mentally, and then very prepared as the question asked for the upcoming hopefully half marathon. It's in November, so fingers crossed that everything goes well. We get there and we complete it. So yeah.
Yay, Kier! What inspired you to want to sign up for that?
Um, I think that I had just been on a journey running with my roommate. Alyssa's amazing. She's like a really good motivator, and her and I go on runs all the time. And Chase, my younger brother, for those who might not know, he's run a couple of half marathons. He's also, like Kyla mentioned at the beginning, like our family's insanely athletic naturally, and a lot of us. And Chase is one of those who's been blessed. So he runs half marathons with like zero training as if it's like the easiest thing in the world. So, as part of this too, the brothers, Dan, Chase, and I, Dan's our older brother, said that we would do it together. So, I think he's also kind of on the Chase side of things. So, he is going to train more than Chase probably will. And he has been texting me to start joining Alyssa and I's training schedule and runs. So, yeah, all of us are doing the Cambridge half marathon in November. So, that's kind of the motivating factor was just running and then friends of mine running marathons, half marathons. And I was like, I feel like I'm at a place where like within my running routine, like I can get there. And I want to also push myself and like make it a goal to achieve. So that's sort of what brought me to the decision.
That's so beautiful. I love the like surrounding yourself with people who are like gonna propel you into this goal. That's awesome, Kier.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, my experience recently where I felt sufficiently prepared was probably when I had Ani. So
Mhm.
Ani was my second child and she's about to turn 1, so I'm like getting really nostalgic about
Yeah.
Ani this week. And I feel like everything about Ani's birth and then like my setup postpartum was so much smoother than my first child because it's hard when you have your first child because you're like, I don't really know what to expect. And also like you're just take like it's like you have to just kind of react to every or respond, react, whatever to everything that's happening because you literally don't know what how you're gonna feel or like how your family is gonna impact you, etc. So I felt like with Ani, it was so much more like calm in the postpartum phase, and a big part of that was like I didn't try and do everything perfectly at all. So like I said, like from the day she came home, I'm like, if she's not gaining weight or like if breastfeeding's an issue, like I'm gonna give her a bottle of formula and I'm not gonna like kill myself like I did the first time. And I feel like that, like I was so much happier. Ani was happier. Like I was like the whole thing felt way more easeful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice because it's like something you like can't really plan for in a lot of ways, but like I felt more prepared for
I
sure.
know, and that's what I was gonna ask you, just like obviously as a man and somebody who's not been through and probably won't go through that process personally, but like hearing from others when you were a first-time mom with Graham, like did that help you in feeling prepared, or was it one of those things where like, yes, I can take on this advice maybe and like and hear it and try to internalize it, but like at the end of the day, it was your own experience and like you can only do so much to prepare. Like how did it how do you look at that, maybe having Ani now and been through the process like once already, like feeling prepared, hearing from others, but then also having like your own experience, if that makes sense.
I honestly, I feel like it's a mix because I did feel really prepared because I had done this super advanced like prenatal, postnatal yoga training. So like even in the hospital it was helpful because like when
Wow.
things weren't going well, like I understood all the terminology the doctors and nurses were using, which like had I not done that training, I would have probably been like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have really understood.
Essentially, yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think I was prepared in the sense that I was like had researched a lot, I had read a lot, I had asked friends like to tell me how their birth stories went, which that honestly is really helpful because then you hear like the spectrum of real situations. Um, but I think what was different though was that I felt more like confident in myself as a parent. So I was able to be like, okay, like it doesn't really like impact me what other people think of what I'm doing. Like this is what I'm doing. Whereas like when you've never done it, you're like, okay, well, I want the baby to like live. Like you're just like, you're so like open that it's like everybody's feedback kind of like cuts right to your heart or your soul. And
Yeah,
like this, when you've done it before, like there's so much more confidence. And so I really like felt that with Ani.
that's
But yeah,
amazing.
I mean, I think preparation is good. I'm a big believer in being
Yes, I am
prepared.
too.
Yeah. I would tell anyone to prepare. Okay. We are pivoting to our final question.
Okay.
How would you like to make your home, wherever you live, feel
Yeah.
more like a retreat?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, I think one thing for me as I'm sitting here on this Zoom call is that my desk is in my room. So I think for me, like my overarching home, just to set the scene for everybody, I live with two roommates, my really close friend Ellie, who I went to Boston College with. We also did the same master's degree. We've been besties for like ever. She's like one of my closest confidants, best friend, all of that. And then Alyssa is our other roommate, who's again like one of our best friends. Ellie and her have known each other since childhood. They both grew up in Walpole, and Alyssa went to Northeastern. And then it just so happened when we were all transitioning out of our last apartments 2 years ago that Alyssa was also looking for like roommates, and I had met her, but we've since then gotten so much closer, and she's like an amazing like I said, motivator, workout partner, like positive person. So I think home in general to me always feels like very comfortable with them because I think with roommate situations, especially at this age, it can be really difficult because, sometimes you do, and I know this about myself, like do need the recharge time and just need to like go to my room and don't feel like I want to step into my home and feeling like I owe somebody something sometimes. And I don't think that'll change when I have a family, but like it's just one of those things where when you're not like related to them or like whatever, like sometimes I'm just like, oh, I wish I had my own space, but it has nothing to do with them. So I think one thing for me that I um do is try to make my room as like serene as possible because that's like my little home away from home within the apartment. So I think if there was a way in which I could ever not have my workspace be in my sleeping space, like I think it would just alleviate some of the stress because even just seeing my desk, I'll be laying and then I'll think of something from work that I like have to get done the next day and I'm like, shoot, like that will get done tomorrow. You literally don't need to think about that right now. And it's hard to sometimes transition that switch off when it's like just in your face. So that's definitely something, as I get older and probably transition into living alone or with a partner, whoever, whatever it might be, to like definitely keep in mind as I create a new home or a new space is like, how can I make sure my work life is outside of my recharge life and like my bedroom in that zone is like just a space for me and just a space, like the question says, to retreat to and get to relax. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
On the vision board.
Yes.
My living situation is I live with my family and our living room is taken over by toys, but I'm okay with that because it like allows me to be in the main space and like watch them while I'm like making dinner or something, so that's totally fine. I'm struggling so much with like I would love to be able to declutter my bedroom. It just always feels like I'm not on top of the clutter situation. And then just like you're saying, like my desk is in my room and then like there's like stuff all over my desk and it's not relaxing when I'm like trying to fall asleep in there. So I really want to commit to decluttering my room probably tomorrow. And then
Yep.
the other opportunity space in here is we have a lot of our workout equipment in our garage.
Yep.
And it is a really nice space to work out in the sense that like we have really nice floor mats, we have like weight, we have all the right equipment.
Yep.
I do think though there's an opportunity to make the space more beautiful and then like create like a visual separation from all of the strollers because we have like the kids strollers in there. So this is probably a longer term project, but I'd love to like make the garage into something absolutely beautiful that I like look forward to going to.
Yeah, like your little oasis away for you, or like even
Yeah,
if it's still like a workout space, but like how can you like transform it into a space that's just like workout, zen, yoga, like whatever you want it to be. I love that.
exactly. Okay. On that note,
Yes.
here, thank you so much for spreading gratitude with me.
Oh, that was, oh
And
my God, that was so fun.
it's so right, it's such a fun way to connect with someone. So if you enjoyed it, check out our gratitude workbook. Ripple is a 31-day practice. You can follow prompts like the ones Kieran and I did today, which we'll also drop in the notes. And it's a beautiful practice. You could do it yourself. Even better, you could do it with somebody else. And we also have our free mobile app if you're looking to, it's kind of like a pen pal. Like you're just like spreading the light with somebody and it helps me because it like puts my looking on what's good and what I want to create.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here, Kieran.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Kai. I love you. This was
Love
great.
you. Bye.
Bye.